My name is Ngozi, which is my native name, and then my baptismal name is Patience. My last name is Umajie, and then I am born in a place called Oshuboko village in River State. The capital of that clan is called Ahoda in Ekpe, Nigeria, West Africa. About my upbringing, I would have said perfect if we have anything like perfection in life. But to me, I believe that my upbringing was perfect. I'm from a very loving family. My parents were down to earth as long as love is concerned towards their children. And more importantly, they brought us up as believing that there's God in a Christian family. My parents were, I should say, one of the best parents that anybody could have, like I had them. They nurtured us with love, kindness, and you could see that the love between my two parents, my father and my mom, was so unique by the time I grew up, though, because like you said, our family was a very big, large family. We had, my parents had 10 kids, although now only 5 surviving. We were shown love in every aspect you can think of, because they were both teachers professionally. But by the time I was born, my mother was no longer a teacher, a homemaker. My father goes for teaching, but my mother took care of us at home. I had a lot of experiences, but I think the one that I remember, the one that I did first was when I was able to go to the farm, because it's not everybody can go to the farm, or when they are going, they leave you home. But by the time I was allowed to go to the farm with my parents, so when they got there, they're supposed to, the grown-ups, I was about, I should say, either 6 or 7, I'm not sure, but I was very young. And so when we got to the farm, they shared the portion that each and every one of us should work, the elders. But I decided to get my own share too. My parents were like, Ngo, you can't do that. I said, no, I will do it. And then they gave me my portion. They were surprised I finished mine before my older siblings. And so they saw me as a very strong person. And on our returning, when you're coming back from the farm, we walk like 2-3 miles to go to farm. When we are coming back, you have to carry baskets of things or firewood on your head. And they wanted me to go without carrying. And I said, no, Mama, I'm going to carry some too. And then they did the thing, put it on my head, and there I went. They were surprised. But the only thing though is that I could not walk the distance all the way from the farm to the house. They had to brake on the road because of me. That was how they knew that I was unique. Because at that age, I wasn't supposed to carry what I carried, but I was able to carry it home. What made me come to United States? Oh my goodness, that's a good question. Well, I don't think there's anybody where I come from that will see the opportunity to come to United States and they will say no. Because we see United States as a paradise on earth. That's the message we are given there. And so if you have the opportunity to come here, it's like you're winning lottery, like you're winning big, But in my own case is that as a child growing up, I had a senior brother. His name was Joseph. He's late now. After he finished secondary school, his plan was to go to England, UK. And as a kid that time, his plan was to go with me wherever he was going. But unfortunately, he passed in the 70s. 1979 he passed. And so my dream of one day going to Europe was dashed until I met my then sweetheart, who made it possible for me to come to United States. If you're promised to go to United States, you think you're going to heaven, because we view United States as the paradise in the world. So he managed to send me documents that brought me to this country, and that was how I came to meet my husband in the United States that I had 2 kids with. And my experience of coming to United States, or the thought of going there, I felt like I was going to paradise on earth. And so I was coming for the big dream, and to meet my husband, to live the best life that I can live with my family. That's why I came. When I was coming here, I was so excited. I was going to be with the love of my life, and more especially the love of America. But when I got here, my experience became something I would not wish even to my worst enemy. A situation that the man that I thought would be the joy of my life became my worst enemy, in the sense that there's nothing loving about the relationship. I don't want to go into details, but from the day one I arrived in his house, it was an experience that I would not wish to anyone. And I thought it would change, but it never. Instead of improving, it's from bad to worse. That a man that you think has brought you to a foreign land to make the best out of you became your enemy. You treated like perpetual slave, where things had to be done his way or no way. And it started from day one of my arrival. But I thought things would change. But as God may have it, I was blessed. After a month, I was pregnant with my God-given son, which is the joy, the strength why I survived the United States of America. When I had him, the joy of living was made whole. I was able to put all the love on my son, and say for instance, when I had my baby in the delivery room in the hospital, my husband was not there. It was just me, the doctors, and then I was so sad. But when the baby came and they brought the baby to my face, with all my sadness, my son gave me a beautiful smile, which told me I don't know how that could happen, that a baby that is coming to you for the first time, seeing you for the first time, I wasn't smiling. Oh, Jesus. During the delivery room, I was alone, and then I was so sad and miserable. But when they brought my son to me, and this baby looked at me and smiled, so from, I don't know what happened, all the sadness just disappeared. As if that wasn't enough, the abuse increased. You cannot do anything except what he wants you to do. You cannot say anything except what he wants you to say. So by the time I knew it, I tried. I wanted to run away at that point. As a situation and a particular incident where I was beaten over nothing. The baby that I had, that he wasn't there when I had the baby. He was with the baby in the bed while I'm standing after taking shower. The baby fell from the bed to the ground where he was lying with the baby. This man got up from the bed. Instead of picking the baby up, came and slapped me. Then I stood, I asked him, "What did you slap me for? Standing naked. What did you slap me for?" He would not answer. So at that point, I couldn't take it anymore. I slapped him back. And that day would have been the end of me. I received the worst beating any human being can receive. And as I was born strong, I always believed that. But there's no way, no matter how tough a woman is, you cannot compare a woman to a man. But it continued, it never stopped. At that point, I decided I'm not making no babies with him, but I don't have anywhere to go anyway. I don't have no choice. And then one day, I looked at my beloved son. He was playing alone with my girlfriend that time, who was part of my journey at that point. I went to her house and her children were playing, and my son was alone. At that point, I thought of, I think I need another child just for my son to have somebody to play with, which eventually was the reason why I had my second son, to have somebody to play with. But that said, we reconciled thinking everything would be okay. It lasted but for a few months. By that time it was too late. I've already made up my mind. Because I don't know whether they say sometimes I'm patient, but sometimes very stubborn. At that point, nobody would change my mind. That was how I left the relationship, moved out with my children. And I remember the day I was moving out, he was standing right there outside with his friend, a friend that was living with us that came from Nigeria at that time. The day I moved, they were standing at the front with my two kids. He never said, "Don't go with my kids." Maybe if he had said that, I would have stayed with him and died in his house. But he never stopped me from taking the two kids. The only thing he asked for was his ring and a suit, a coat, very nice winter coat he bought for me. He said I shouldn't take them, and I gave it to him. I gave them to him and then left with my two kids. That was how I left him. For someone who has gone through what I went through, I will advise them to persevere. Don't ever give up. And don't, how will I put it? Don't settle, don't make an individual keep you where you don't want to be. Make sure you go for what you want. Don't settle for nonsense. Don't allow yourself to be abused by either a man or woman, because I believe we're all individuals and we have our own minds to think and to do what is best for us and those we love. And if anybody tells you you can't make it, the person is kidding you. Because if I can, an illegal alien, a foreigner, an immigrant from West Africa to United States, if I could have the courage, the strength to pick my two little sons and say, I'm going to leave. It's not easy though. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy. You go through thick and thin. If time is not taken, you say you want to give up. But if you do whatever you're doing with God, no matter how it's pressing, you go through it. My name is Ngozi, meaning blessing, and I am an overcomer.
I read I'm more prone to follow in his footsteps. I guess I got some demons I ain't shook yet, and charges that I should get, and colleges I shouldn't see. Odds I defeat, though you ain't want us to win. Condition you left us in.
My twin brother and I, we were adopted at 2 months. Our original birth parents were on drugs, so to speak, which of course made them unfit to care for us. We were adopted by 2 people. Life wasn't always easy, but I'm not going to necessarily say it was definitely hard. There was a lot of bumps that were hit. As a young child, I didn't always have my dad at home.